Avast me hearties! Welcome back to another week of swashbuckling adventures in Treasure Island. Mia has been working on their novel, and we have some fresh passages to read. Last week we explored how characters are brought to life through description, dialogue, and action. Today we're examining how the tone of a story shapes our experience of these characters and their adventures. Have you got your sea legs ready? Let's get sailing! Today we'll be furthering our understanding of tone. We'll analyze how the tone can affect a story's setting, its plot, and its characterization. And you can expect some additional practice with tone analysis right before your weekly preview. So, do you remember what tone is? As you know, tone is the attitude of the author or the attitude of the narrator the author has created. How is tone created again? That's right. An author develops their tone through their word choice, also known as diction. The words that they choose are intentional in creating a specific attitude. You've already got some experience in identifying the tone of a passage, so let's take a look at how tone interacts with and influences other literary elements. We'll begin with setting. Let's analyze how tone sets the scene. I'll read a passage from Mia's novel that creates a specific atmosphere. Pay attention to the specific words that contribute to the tone while I read. Then identify the tone they collectively establish. Beneath the cloak of night, the ship, the sea phantom, lay anchored in the shadowy cove. Moonlight slithered across the waves, casting a ghostly glow on the vessel's time-worn sails. The air was calm and thick with the scent of brine. Now think about the words I just read. Which one stood out to you as establishing the tone? Maybe it was cloak of night, or shadowy cove, slithered, or even ghostly glow. These words contribute to a tone that is mysterious and a bit eerie, don't you think? They set a mood that's full of suspense, making you wonder what might happen next on the Sea Phantom. That's the power of tone in establishing a setting. Next, let's see how tone can influence the development of the plot. Remember, the plot is the sequence of events in a story, and the tone can affect how we perceive these events. Let's check out another passage from Mia's novel. Look for the specific word choices that influence tone and the plot development. Suddenly the lookout's sharp cry pierced the quiet. "Ship ahoy!" he shouted, his voice tense with fear. Captain Iron sprang to his feet, his eyes scanning the dark horizon. The crew's easy banter turned to hushed, hurried preparations. Did you notice the shift in tone? What words signal this shift? Words like suddenly, sharp cry, tense, and hurried created a tone of urgency and tension. This change in tone signals a shift in the plot, moving from a calm, eerie night to the anticipation of action. It's like the story is holding its breath, waiting for what happens next. Now let's explore how tone impacts characterization. How an author uses tone can give us deeper insights into a character's personality, their emotions, and their motivations. Let's look at this passage about Captain Iron. See if you can identify the words that establish the tone and influence characterization. Amid the flurry, Captain Iron noticed the young lookout, wide-eyed but determined, struggling to maneuver the rigging. Without losing his commanding posture, Iron briefly joined the sailor, guiding his hands with swift, expert movements. "Like this, lad, quick and sure," he said, his voice stern but devoid of harshness. So, what do you think? What words contribute to the tone of the passage and to characterization of Captain Iron? In this passage, words like commanding, swift, expert movements, and stern but devoid of harshness paint a picture of Iron as a leader who's stern yet fair. The way he interacts with the young lookout shows us a side of him that's not just about giving orders, but also about guiding and teaching. This adds layers to his character, making him more than just a typical captain. How would you describe the tone of this passage? The tone of this passage can be described as reassuring and authoritative. While it does reflect Captain Iron's character, the tone itself conveys a sense of calm command and controlled guidance. All of these elements are connected to and influenced by the tone that the author decides to take. Mia has been doing a great job on this novel, right? Keep in mind, Treasure Island is written from Jim Hawkins' perspective. His tone contributes to characterization for all the other characters, but it also shows how Jim's perspective changes throughout the story. Look closely at how he describes Silver at the start of the novel compared to the middle. You might notice a marked difference. What does this say about Jim and his experiences? Now it's your turn to practice identifying and playing with tone. We'll take a peaceful scene and see how changing the words can completely flip the tone. Take a look at this passage. As the evening settled over the sea phantom, the ship drifted through the calm seas under a blanket of stars. The sails billowed softly in the gentle night breeze. So, how can we change the tone? Let's try to make this passage a little more intense and scary. Try to replace the bolded words with your own words to make the scene tense. Maybe you came up with something like this. As nightfall descended over the sea phantom, the ship crept through the churning seas under a shroud of ominous clouds. The sails flapped violently in the harsh night wind. See how the tone shifted from peaceful to tense and foreboding, all through selecting the right words. This is the effect of tone in storytelling. This week, you'll be furthering your understanding of how a text can be structured. You'll be reading more of Treasure Island and analyzing the tone of different passages, similar to what we did today. Towards the end of the week, you'll be answering some reflection questions, and you'll be writing a short word choice analysis, where you'll explain how the word choice of part 3 affects the overall tone. You're going to do amazing things this week. So keep your eyes and ears open for those subtle cues in Treasure Island this week. Mia can tell you that the way a story is told is just as important as the story itself. Until next time, keep sailing through your literary adventures, and remember to always be clever.